In this week's very first story, we meet a gentleman whose passion for trees is unmistakable. In fact, many children in the Oxford, Mississippi area got their first introduction to what tree farming is all about thanks to the school tours that John Arrechea hosted on his property for 25 years. Last October, Arrechea was named the Outstanding Tree Farmer of the Year by the Mississippi Forestry Association. John continues to be a strong advocate for forestry and always has time to show a visitor to his tree farm what it means to be a good steward of the land. This sign marks the turnoff for Springwood Christmas Tree Farm, John Arrechea's tree farm south of Oxford, Mississippi. What are now open areas on this beautiful place used to be covered in Christmas trees. Lots of Christmas trees, 7 acres worth in fact. Christmas trees were the first main enterprise of this farm. From 1985 to 2010, John Arrechea had school groups out here each year. He taught them about what it takes to produce Christmas trees and about how to take care of the land.
This was a highlight of my year when the children, even pre-kindergarten and kindergarten, came out in the July and August, September, hot out here, but I knew that the children were going to be coming, and they'd bring their school buses in, and sometimes with as many as 60 children in one group. So, but I enjoyed that.
Each November and December for 25 years, John Arrechea used his tree farm as a demonstration area to educate young people about forestry. During this time, he figures he sold well over 4,000 Christmas trees. Also during these years, John's wife Lois operated a related business each holiday season. She made wreaths and garland from all the cull trees in a workshop in this house on the farm. Although the tours for children ended in 2010 and Christmas tree sales are now limited to stock he buys wholesale and brings in, John is still always more than happy to take a walk on his property with visitors or friends and talk about his tree farm.
The thing that kind of impresses me is with 120 acres, he's got a wide variety of habitat. I mean, he's got some bottomland hardwood, he's got some upland old growth, you know, an area where he's done the Christmas tree farm that he's gradually converting over to pine, and then the pine plantation areas. It's just amazing the variety of habitat he has here.
This ridge on the farm was converted from Christmas trees to loblolly pine production in 2007. John Arrechea personally planted 1,000 seedlings as a reforestation project.
This area here at one time for a number of years was in different Christmas trees, probably improved variety of Virginia pine. And so as time went on, my wife tells me I need to slow up a little bit. So this was just open field for a while after the last Christmas trees were harvested. Anyway, and so I went ahead and planted this area in loblolly. So this is a stand. I'm real proud of it.
Adjacent to the young trees is a stand of 21-year-old loblolly. Forestry consultant Bill Canale worked with John Arrechea on a harvest operation on this part of the tree farm in 2008. A first thinning was conducted on 66 acres of loblolly.
I actually found a quality thinning crew from Bruce, Mississippi. We negotiated with them and conducted basically a 5th row system, fairly light thinning, but it's a beautiful stand of high quality genetics, pole quality material, and John said it was planted with International Paper Company stock, and certainly left enough volume to come back and do a second cut within the next few years.
There has also been other forest management work in addition to harvesting and reforestation on this tree farm in the last 5 years. Other practices have included the rehabilitation of existing fire lanes in 2008, as well as the installation of new ones.
So we come in and of course put water bars and turnout ditches on the existing fire lanes, put in new ones, and we covered it with some arrowleaf clover, some common Bermuda, and it's held really well. You know, we don't see much erosion, and he's also got some native grasses coming back on it as well. He's got some common lespedeza for wildlife. So he was looking at 3 things really with the fire lanes. 1, fire control, some wildlife habitat, and then some good areas that he can get around the property and keep an eye on it.
John Arrechea's most recent forest management work on the tree farm was performing a QVM spray in 2011. Working through his consultant and his service forester with the Mississippi Forestry Commission, John obtained cost-share funding for an aerial application to control both woody and herbaceous species of vegetation in the pine plantation. A controlled burn is scheduled to take place in the winter of 2013.
John Arrechea is just a prime example of what we like to see in a forest landowner. He manages his tree farm on a sustainable basis. He has a diversity of crops in his business. He's got the traditional forestry going on. He does thinning and regeneration, but he also does his little Christmas tree farm sales.
Unlike some tree farmers, forestry is more than just a hobby for John Arrechea. He is college trained in this field and was a forester with the U.S. Forest Service until his retirement in 1987. John has had a written forest management plan for his property since the day he bought it 42 years ago.
A landowner's objectives can vary, and depending on what they want to do, they can either manage for economic gain, or they can have multi-purpose management. John manages multi-purpose. He is a big advocate for wildlife. He also has the Christmas tree farm here. So he has income producing opportunity as well as beneficial enjoyment.
But probably the most impressive thing that really stood out to me was what Mr. John and Miss Lois do for the community in promoting forestry and the tree farm program. He's held a position on the Oxford Tree Board, served as the chair on that board, and he's helped found a nature trail which was actually named after him here in the community.
Perhaps most importantly, John Arrechea is responsible for helping organize the Lafayette County Forestry Association 20 years ago. John is now the editor of the Lafayette CFA newsletter and serves on the board as treasurer. He has been a member of the Mississippi Forestry Association since 1965 and the Society of American Foresters since 1967. From Oxford, Mississippi, I'm Leighton Spann reporting. And you can watch this story on John Arrechea again at the Farmweek website, Facebook page, or YouTube. Now the website is farmweek.msucares.com. We'll also have all the links and contact information for the many agencies that you can go to get forestry advice and to help you start to manage a tree farm. And artists, I talked to Lois and John Arrechea, and they're going to be headed to Minneapolis, Minnesota at the end of the month for the National Tree Farm meeting. Looking forward to that. Now you saw the open areas on the place, a lot of areas to bush hog, and he was glad in late June he had a couple of his oldest grandsons down from Germantown, Tennessee that helped him take care of the bush hogging duties there on the tree farm in the open areas. And earlier back in the spring, the Forestry Commission was on hand to help him do a controlled burn on about 66 acres of that tree farm. So a lot going on at the Arrechea place.
One thing to remember, he didn't do this all in a day. And if you want to, there's free advice out there. Mississippi Forestry Commission, the MSU Extension Service, the NRCS, there is advice out there. The main thing is get a plan and then follow that plan.